Be happy.
Be happy.
Be happy, Mom. Be happy, Mommy.
Come on, keep your chill. Enjoy this time.
Smile.
Smile, smile, my darling.
Honey, you gotta count your blessings.
Welcome to Creative Mamas Unplugged. We are your hosts. I'm Cherice Barton.
And I'm Shelly Hutchinson. Creative Mamas Unplugged is a podcast where we navigate the hell out of being a creative mom with humor and heart.
We will have honest conversations,
Hear wise words from fellow badass mamas.
and share hilarious stories around motherhood for some much-needed comic relief. Listen, motherhood is the most creative, most difficult job in the world. You are not alone, and you deserve to be happy. We now have an Instagram handle.
We do.
Very exciting. It's at Creative Mamas Unplugged. So now we have our Gmail address and our Instagram handle. And once again, the fact that we're talking and we found so much joy in and relief in finding each other, community is super important. So we are here for any mom out there or anyone who identifies as a mom. And we want to invite you to write to us, to tell us stories, to ask us questions, to just not feel alone. So I think the Instagram DM, or you can do a little voice message on Instagram. You can, send an email. And I think that it's just super important.
Yeah. The sharing of the stories and connecting with each other in the sense of like, oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah, I know, I get that. Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Just finding these little spots where we can connect as moms and caregivers. We have so many dogs that are a part of this podcast. I was just saying my dogs are like the Bumpus's dogs from A Christmas Story when they like attack the turkey and eat it at the end. Those are mine. That's the vibe they give off this morning. So we might be welcoming them into our podcast.
I think so. So yes, all dogs are welcome. I like that you have a basketball hoop indoors behind you.
Behind me, we have several. They're pretty much on every door throughout the house. I'm not kidding. Everybody has one. Every bathroom has one. It's just nonstop.
Do you get a lot of thumping noises throughout the day?
Yeah. I mean, like when they were really little, not really little, probably up until like they were like, I would say like 7 and 9, I would do these like obstacle courses through the house. And then when COVID hit, it was like our trademark. Like that's all we did every day. And so, these were kind of like the remnants of that were like left over. And then we just kept it, but they utilize it. I mean, they really do. It drives my husband crazy. And we have broken so many vases.
That's what I was wondering.
I have too many vases anyway. Like my idea of like home repair is to just go to Home Goods and buy a vase. Like we have a leaking roof. We have like a toilet that doesn't work, but I'm like, you know what we do need though? We need just another vase for that front room. It's ridiculous. So we can just break them. It's so silly. It's like, I really should be putting that money into home repairs, but it's not, it's just into the extra coffee mug and the vase. So
love it.
Right?
Yes.
Silly.
Never have enough dogs or vases.
or
oh, my kitten.
He's here. 3-piece kittens. I have 3-piece kittens this week. Look.
Oh my God. That is so cute. Oh, little kitty.
No business. None. No business having any of these other living things in the house. None.
3-piece.
3-piece kittens. But these guys are 5 weeks old.
Oh.
And they're like really needing, like they still do like the bottle feeding thing, kind of like they're not on like solid food yet. But we're just gonna do our part. I work with actually the shelter, and it's like kitten season. So like every cat has, 1 million kittens, and they're strays. Like they're just like left on people's porches. They're just like left on people's like decks, found under cars. There's a lot in like auto body shops. There's a lot of cats there. So these particular guys were found next to a dead mom And one of them was trying, there were 6 of them. I think one of them was trying to breastfeed off of the mom. And the other 3, I think, are like being kind of nursed back to health because
Okay.
I think they were still trying to like get fed. So these 3 that I have are from that litter. And the boys love them. Like they come down and like they want to like, feed them and play with them. And so we were late for school this morning and it's because they were playing with the kittens and it's
Aw.
okay. Well, it's that thing that people always say, though, like psychologists always say that these, like all this like self-help stuff, they always talk about like if you're feeling really, like low and just like a mood, or, if you're just having a moment of struggle to like, count your 3 blessings, like think about what your gratitude journal or what you're grateful for, it just really brings you back to the moment, and immediately like, oh my gosh, I'm just so grateful that I have all my body parts right now, or I'm just so grateful that I have, a roof over my head, and like thinking about the things that, we just day to day take 100% take for granted, like, I mean, I do remember struggling with infertility for so long that like being actually pregnant, I was pregnant at the same time with some friends and some and people around me. I just, you connect with people who are going through the same thing. And I just remember a lot of complaining about like being pregnant in the summer, feeling huge. And I just remember feeling like there's not one moment of this that I don't love. Like there's not one thing I will ever say I hate about this, because I wanted it so much. And I knew that emptiness and that pain that it felt when I didn't have it. So I had been sort of like counting that I was grateful for that through that whole time that I really could not have kids and could not get pregnant, so much that I was like, okay, we're definitely going to adopt and this is fine. And this is where we're going. And that's always something I had in my heart anyway. But, I wanted to be pregnant 18 more times because I was dying to know what that felt like. And then what I did, I was like, oh, right. I'm grateful for this. There's not one thing I will complain about,
Yeah.
but that's just kind of how it goes. When you have that perspective, you find that space to hold for, what if I didn't have this?
Yeah, definitely the gratitude and the mindfulness, which I've been doing a lot of lately. And I actually listened to a podcast. And I wish next time I will definitely give the name of the exact podcast that I was listening to. But someone was being interviewed about mindfulness. And a lot of people, when they think of mindfulness, they're like, oh God, meditation, I can't do it. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that I can't.
Total turn off. Yeah.
Total turn off. Yeah. But the whole podcast was really around being mindful doesn't necessarily mean sitting and, in a lotus position and clearing your mind. It's just literally being mindful of what your thoughts are and knowing that they are not you. They are not your feelings.
Yes.
They are thoughts. And then once you are aware of the thought, and it separates you a little bit, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling angry. You are not those emotions. You
Mhm.
are experiencing those emotions, but they are not you in the moment. So that helps too. But you know what also helps?
Yeah.
Just fuck it sometimes. I wrote about it. I'm going to read it to you. Take a fuck it all day. Do it. Have a fuck it all day without regret. Sometimes it's okay to have these kinds of rest days. They are not a cop out. You are not escaping. You are dealing. You're processing and feeling and moving through it. Sometimes grief and fear get the better of me. I work very hard on my mental health. I'm constantly checking in with myself to see how I can do better, how I can be better. I try to find time to work out, to meditate, to be a good mom. I cried. I felt sorry for myself. I grieved. I laid horizontal for hours. I knew that I needed to go through it and I needed to allow it to pass. And I did. And it did. We deserve days where we do the bare minimum. Allow ourselves to feel, to not work so hard at lifting ourselves up. Bare minimum. Don't feel guilty. Put the kids in front of the TV all day. Don't bother with the dishes or cutting up the veggies. Feed them fries, lie in bed, cry in your pillow, take a long bath, let the feelings out. Get mad, be cranky, weep, feel sorry for yourself. You deserve it. Tomorrow you'll be glad you did. You got it out. we have to feel and then let it go. Better than trying to hold it all in. You will feel better. And that's it.
Well, first, I'm sorry that you had such a tough week, but it also sounds like you really figured out where to put all that stuff and gave yourself the grace and the space and the time. And it's amazing.
Thank you. It helped. And I feel good.
Yeah.
I sacrificed, and that's another thing about motherhood, and we've discussed this before. It's like where is that balance between caring for yourself and caring for your children? But I think that, we just take each day one day at a time. We're not going to be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect. The other days you'll be, you'll have more energy. You'll be able to focus more on the kids. You'll be able to be that super mom that you want to be, It's okay. Like, I'm just trying to be easier on myself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's really hard to be like the CEO of a company when you're just like in charge of all these things and all these people and you're not able to give anymore because you're out of gas. I mean, you got to refill the tank and if that's what that looks like, and that's exactly what you do. And I'm inspired by you really listening to that and being okay with all of that. Because, guilt is like this earned emotion that we just like give ourselves. And it's like, I always feel like, I don't know why I feel like this is just like part of guilt is like part of motherhood. Like, it's really not. Like, it's not, it's earned. It's not an innate thing that that it's part of us. Like, we bring it to ourselves. And the fact that you did not bring it to your healing and to your self-care is like, I find that's a very big part of being able to take that step. I mean, I applaud that.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Now, I want to hear the chicken nugget story because you texted me yesterday about throwing a nugget on the floor, and I can't wait to hear the story.
Well, we were in the middle of trying to like figure out our day, right? Today, like figure out our morning and figure out our times. And I just texted back, P.S. I just threw a chicken nugget on the floor and told everyone they can make their own dinner. And I left. Highlight parenting moment. Highest of my highest self in that moment. And I walked around the block and I came back in and emotionally regulated my shit and came back in. The nugget was not there. I'm assuming the dog ate it. So great. It didn't waste. I'm not into wasting food. But I walked in and I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to have a mom tantrum for that moment. My boys are like, it's fine, Mom, we don't care. But, my little one, it was really my little one. Like we're doing like testing all week. He's been very sassy all week and really just kind of pushing back and a little defiant and like, it's fine. It's nothing that's like not normal stuff, but there's just been a lot of it. I'm in finals week, my husband's like super busy with like, we're just having a jam-packed week where everybody's got shit going on. And so we all come home hangry, but instead of feeding myself, I pulled like a mama cat and just started feeding everybody else. And I was hangry and my little one was complaining about the yogurt and then he wouldn't answer me. And then he got really mad because I wouldn't let him go watch TV because it was time to get in the shower and get in bed and all that stuff. And he just got really pissed off at me. And I think that's when I was just like, well, fuck you too. And threw the nugget, but, again, coming back in, regulating myself. And saying, I'm trying to teach the kids like accountability. It's got to start with like how I handle it, right? I had to come in and say, listen, I'm sorry, not my best moment. I was having a minute, and they get it. Like, it's cool. We got minutes too. Like, we're human. But I think that's really important. I mean, if we've been really, I think that in the last couple of weeks, my husband and I, and just in terms of like parenting, have really been coming across this like idea of perfectionism with our kids and how we present ourselves in the world. My husband, I think, and I both share this in our work. We feel we're really kind of like our highest selves. We value it. We work hard and we just feel that that's where we're really in our highest self. And so with our kids, the way we present ourselves to the world is of that, I think, outside. Right. And so like with our kids, we've just been talking a lot about like, are we doing that with our kids? And they have these opportunities where they can sort of show and showcase themselves with, their competitive baseball and at school and like other activities that they do that they find themselves particularly good in. You know, we had a situation the other day where my older son was playing a baseball game and it got down to like a tie, and it was just kind of like one of those like high stakes like little league games, if that's even a thing. But he ended up doing something that would be considered like an error, and he blew the game per se. And the pain that I saw in him, that my husband saw in him, was just, it was a lot to really handle. And I separated myself from it. You know, I just thinking in my head, like, I'm not taking that on in terms of making myself feel what he's feeling and making that about me and how I feel. I'm completely just going to sit with him and hold space for his feelings and try to talk to him about, like, that feels really bad, but there are other opportunities to do things that don't feel bad. And you don't have to be the savior of the game. Like, this idea that they have to sort of, you know, be the best, and, you know, really trying to work on that with them and make sure that both of our kids know, like, you don't have to. And there is, being mediocre at something is completely fine. And failing at something is also completely fine. And, you know, even my younger one, I had his teacher come to me, and at the beginning of the year, parent teacher conference, she literally said to me, you kind of have a perfect kid here all around. And I remember hearing that and being like, oof, that's real dangerous, because he's going to show you the shit he's got going on. And it's gonna flip your perspective. And I was just kind of waiting for it. He's a good kid. What kid isn't? That every kid is good. But, you know, he started springtime. He started showing some, you know, funny behavioral things in class. And she came to me and she said, you know, I want to just kind of let you know he's kind of going this way with some stuff in class. He's kind of being a little more talkative. And I said, you know, I'll talk to him about respecting your boundaries, and I will talk to him about being respectful. Don't worry, you know, we'll take care of it at home. But, you know, inside I thought, he's a kid and he's human. And I want to be really careful about making sure that we don't subconsciously hold him to a perfectionist standard, right? Because maybe I hold myself to a perfectionist standard, but I have to be really careful that subconsciously I'm not sending a message that, like, you also have to do that. You know, when you're a kid, I think the whole thing is like, you have to make 50 mistakes before you figure something out, right? When you're an adult, you have less because you have more years behind you. But, you know, I think, isn't that the whole idea of being a kid, is just making a bunch of fucking mistakes and messing up and blowing the game, and, you know? So we've had these like situations where they've been nice teaching moments. I don't know about nice, I'll take that back. Tricky teaching moments, tough, but like, I'm kind of seeing it a little more clearly as to where this could head, you know? And I really want to be careful of that, because I feel that kids should really be allowed to be human, coming from that spot and that perspective of, like, kids are good, you know, they're good. They're figuring it out, and figuring it out can be really, really messy.
Yeah.
Sometimes disrespectful to adults, and then they throw a chicken nugget on the floor and walk out.
Yes. Well, they're little, you know, we're all people and we make mistakes too. And that's part of life. And it's teaching them life skills is so important, teaching them how to navigate, you know, losing, how to navigate all of this. And yeah, we're always working with our kids about, when it comes to, you know, perfectionism and all of that too, because kids model themselves after their parents. And I know my character defects, you know, I'm a perfectionist, I'm a people pleaser, and I don't want that for my children.
For your girls, no.
No. Yeah. So I try to be really honest with them and really come down to their level. And we have a family therapist who's been helping us talk to the kids on their level, and it's been a really interesting process. And it's
How do you like family therapy as a family? I mean, do you feel like it's something that you see yourself continuing with moving forward, and feeling like it's a part of the support that you guys need right now? Because I always think, I can't imagine it's like not the best idea, you know?
Yeah. It was a total disaster. In the beginning, we got in there and the kids immediately hated it. They were like, I don't like the way this makes me feel. I would rather talk to you. I don't want to talk to some rando, you know. They were very defiant.
Yeah.
hated it. Summer sat in the room with us with her arms crossed and refused to say a word. So we tried
Mhm.
that a few times and then decided not to bring the kids anymore. And it
Mhm.
became more of a coaching session for the two of us,
Correct.
really surrounding family and how to speak to the kids. And I'm very grateful because, there's ways to talk to kids on their level about very adult issues that they can grasp, you know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
one thing that really I enjoyed learning about is asking kids questions. If they're feeling something, instead of trying to fix it, don't try to fix it. Don't always try to fix it. Which is, I'm a fixer. I'm like, I want to be like, oh no no no, it's okay, it's okay, you're okay. Life is good, and think of your blessings.
Yeah, you
But
want to take it
really,
away for them. Yeah.
yeah, to really sit with them and say, oh, that's hard. That's really hard. I you must feel so sad right now. And then asking them questions like, why do you, maybe the why isn't always good, but what do you think it is that is making you feel this way? Or what do you think, and then have the kids answer for you. And that's really beneficial. That's one
Mhm.
thing that's a good one that I learned.
Love that, because we all just want to be understood. That someone said, I don't remember who said this. Someone said, I don't remember where I heard this in some therapist online on Instagram or something like that, said, you did not want that to happen. Like
Oh
when
yeah.
someone like, oh, I know you did not want that to happen.
Yeah.
Which is all around, to a friend, to a partner, to a significant other, to your kids. It just like affirms the fact that, like, yeah, I didn't want to lose my keys. I didn't want to get that parking ticket. And I also didn't want to, spill the juice on the floor. Like, I didn't want to do that. And I didn't do it on purpose. And I didn't want that to happen. And it just kind of affirms that support. Like, I'm right here. I see that.
I love that.
You're not in trouble and you're not alone.
Yeah, you're not in trouble and you're not alone. So you know what I'm going to do this week?
What are you going to do this week?
Once again, it was advice from my therapist, but I was talking to her about, the different parts of myself and nurturing them. And I was saying, there's something about whenever I talk about my work, whenever uh, I light up the room when I talk about my work. I get so excited. I feel so good when I'm working, but I don't want that to define who I am. It's a part of me. And so I was talking about the times in between projects when I'm home and I am 100%, the caretaker of the home and the children, and how that I don't get the same feeling. And she said, "What do you think that means?" And I was like, I'm a performer, right? So my whole life I've been used to applause. I do a performance, then there's applause, right? At the end of it, and I can take a bow.
Can you make the girls do that for you one time after just making breakfast, and then just how about a round for mom?
I did. Yes. Yes. It's a joke in our family saying applause, applause. And that came up with my therapist the other day. And she said to me, she was like, you know what? I think that you need to give yourself more applause and make it. And so that's what I'm going to be doing this week, Shelly. I'm going to, make the chicken nuggets, and then I'm going to go.
Nice. That's the one. That's it right there. Don't make anyone else do it. Just lead by example.
I love it. That, and yeah. And I'm going to try to branch out this week and force myself to listen to some other music, because I've been realizing lately that for the past decade, I only have a repertoire of about 10 songs at any time going through my head. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've never really put a boundary with my children when it comes to music. I allow them to choose their own songs.
Mm-hmm.
One will choose a song, the other one will choose a song, and mommy doesn't get to choose a song. I know there are moms and dads out there who say, I'm going to listen to what I want to listen to, but I've never done that.
Yeah, like my dad in like straight up 1982, it was just like Genesis greatest hits, and fuck you if you don't like it, for hours. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, but so that's what I've been doing. And in the beginning it was, Baby Shark, just over and over in my head. Or what was it, Little Baby Bomb, and then there was Sesame Street, and I'm a choreographer, and so I'm always listening to music, or was always listening to music prior to the kids, and coming up with all of these great pieces of choreography, and a lot of it was influenced by music. But since the kids have come along, I have to admit, like I have literally choreographed to the Muppets. I have choreographed to, and now it's Benson Boone and Olivia Rodrigo, and I wouldn't even know who these people are, but because Summer's obsessed with them, I probably know the words to every single Benson Boone song and every single Olivia Rodrigo song. So in class the other day, I got called in to sub the other day, and I was like, what song am I going to use? And of course I'm using Benson Boone.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I've got to branch out now, because I don't even know, when I did the circus project in the desert, felt so good because it was all this great music, and I was, on my own in the desert, and I was able to just listen to all this fantastic music. But when I'm here, that's something I need to just make a conscious effort to do. So that is what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to listen to more music, and I'm going to give myself applause. What about you?
What I'm going to do this week? Well, I'm going to go get a wax.
Oh,
That's what I'm going to do.
Amazing.
That's what I'm going to do. And the rest of my day, I am actually headed to the elementary school to do the opening number for their musical. Look out.
Of course you are.
Look out. Here we go. So that's what I got going on. And my younger one is like, Mom, can I go with you? I'm like, absolutely. And he goes with me. And, I'll say like, why don't you do the curtain? You can do a curtain pulling. And then I'm like, stand by and music, curtain's not moving. And I'm like, you had one job. And he's in the background with a basketball. Can't.
Oh my gosh.
Try again. You're not fired quite yet.
I love it that you mix all of it together. That's just, you are doing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the other thing is we don't see each other if we don't, right? It's like sometimes that's just kind of how it's got to be, because, I'm going to be a part of their world. They're going to be a part of my world as much as we can make. I mean, you're a part of your kids' world. We hear you're bringing in the music.
It's also such a joy to bring our kids into our work. I mean, we're so lucky that way.
For sure.
That's yeah, I'm very grateful for that. I brought my kids to the studio so many times too.
Yep.
Yeah.
There wasn't another way, right? At that point, if they allowed it, then you took advantage of that, because again, childcare is sometimes impossible to find.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you. You have a beautiful week. Applause.
Creative Mamas Unplugged is produced by Breatheasy Productions with music by Jeremy Jurin. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give my mama 5 stars and keep coming back. Thanks to us kids, there are plenty of stories to tell. And you are not alone. Bye for now.